Hey there everybody, this is Kathy. Welcome. I decided to try something a little bit different. This is, while it's obviously a video, it's going to be more of a podcast format. So, I mean, you're welcome to watch, but just listening would work just fine too, because at least in this one there won't be any graphics put up. Anyway, the idea being just kind of an update of what's going on around the farm. I'm hoping for once a week. We'll see how it goes. To be honest with you, just being straight with you right now, when we get into lambing season, the likelihood of this being once a week, probably not so good. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I have a few notes. So I would like to say, if you have any questions or you want me to answer anything, any comments, any all that, hit us up. Email us at familyfarmlivestock@gmail.com or put some comments in the video. We'd love to help you out. We'd love to answer your questions. Anyway, here's what we got, at least what's going on around the farm, and it is January 22nd today. So regarding the sheep, we are past breeding season. That started December, well, actually normally the 1st. This year it started the 2nd because the weather on the 1st was pretty rough. So December 2nd, and so we're not too worried about that right now. The ewes are probably, if they're going to breed, they're already bred. So what we've got going on right now is we noticed a few, in approximately 12, good looking ewes, nice big bodied, no marks. And how did that happen? Well, we had a few ewes when they were grazing the yard this summer escape and get in some other paddocks, and those paddocks had ram lambs in them. I wouldn't have thought much about it, except now these gals are looking real close. So we have 12 surprise lambers that honestly I'm surprised no one has lambed yet, because the first ones we brought in just about 2 weeks ago would have expected lambs already, but any minute. So that's kind of a nice surprise. We'll see what shakes out of those 12 ladies. The other thing that happened pretty interesting on the sheep front is we just recently sold a pretty big trailer load of lambs. We sold 27. Normally we just, if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen we just put the racks on the pickup truck and put in anywhere from 6 to 8 and run them down to Mount Hope. This time we called a hauler and put together a group of some pretty good looking ram lambs, 27 of them. And the crazy part here is we expected them to be split up at the auction, and they actually went together in one group. So that was pretty unusual for around here. Usually there aren't super big sheep flocks in this area, although Mount Hope is a popular sheep and goat auction. But usually the groups that run through are a little bit smaller than that. I would say more around 15. But anyway, so the fact that the 27 ran through all together was pretty crazy. They brought a good price, so that was awesome. We're really happy. That went really well for us. Next up is the pig front. What we've got shaken with the pigs is, if you watch my videos, you know I sold most of the feeder pigs that were born in October, early October. I did keep back 6 of Marta's babies, 6 that were the best growers. I took the 3 smallest out and combined them with Whitney's 3 smallest, and those pigs were sold earlier in January. Whitney's bigger pigs were sold in December. So the 6 pigs I'm keeping, there's 4 keeping to feed out. There's 4 gilts and 2 barrows. Obviously the 2 barrows are destined to be market hogs, and 2 of the gilts are looking pretty good as potential replacement gilts. We'll see how that goes. The great news is this is really exciting because these are completely my genetics, and by that I mean our boar, Wilson, is the dad, and our sow, and they were born here. So this will be the first litter that I will be raising market hogs out of the boar that I have here. The last batch was done AI. But for anybody who's kind of thinking this through a little bit more, the downside of keeping replacement gilts out of my own boar is that to breed those gilts, I either need a different boar or to breed them AI, because you don't want to do the father-daughter thing. That's a little on the dicey end of things. Anyway, so we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see how they grow. We'll see how they look as they get a little bit bigger. On to the next subject for today is the geese. Once again, if you watch some of our stuff, you've seen that we have mostly American buff. And those characters are still zooming about the barnyard. They go out to eat grass and they come back. They kind of do as they please. Get a little bit of corn. You know how it is. Anyway, they are starting to pair up. You see them do a little bit of intergroup fighting as everybody decides who's doing what out there. But they won't really start nesting for a couple months yet. But geese like to be paired up early. Anyway, so what we did is I also have 2 Sebastopols. And to be quite blunt, I didn't get them pulled off soon enough last year. So they, the pair of them didn't have any fertile eggs, but the female laid a few eggs early, and I believe the dad of those early goslings was the Emden. So there is still one crossbred Sebastopol running around, and it has some of the fluffy primary feathers, so across the top of its back it has the crazy Sebastopol feathers, but the rest of it is completely not Sebastopol. So that's definitely not a purebred. Anyway, so we are hoping for, since I've got the Sebastopols pulled off in their own pen, that we will be getting some purebred Sebastopol goslings this spring. So that would be awesome. We'll see how it shakes out. Then one of the best things that's happened to us this year, if you are a fellow livestock farmer, you know that getting good hay and getting hay on time is a pretty big deal. And sometimes it can be tough. Sometimes if you go to the auction, you can't always get what you want. You just get what shows up. So we have been super fortunate this year. We have worked with 3 really great hay guys. They call to make sure we have what we need. They bring stuff on schedule. It's just wonderful. In the past, we've had some trouble working out and making sure that we got all the hay we needed. And this year it is working out super great. Granted, we're only in the end of January right now, so we've got a little bit ways to go. But so far it is going so well. And it is wonderful to have come across people who want to do such a good job and are so reliable, because this is a huge deal for us. This is a huge deal. We have a little bit of our own hay, but not a ton. So we really count on buying in high quality hay. And that, to be blunt, that only counts if you can get it delivered. And this year that has been super. The guys we're getting it from have worked out really, really great. So that's awesome. Alrighty, that's it that I have for the farm updates. And I wanted to end with one tip for anybody who's thinking about raising your own broilers this year. And I just picked broilers because I'm hearing a lot of stuff going on around the internet that, you know, you need to order your seeds early before they run out. You need to order your broilers right away before they run out. And I have to admit, you should get your order in, but you do not need to schedule those chicks to show up at your house until later in the summer. Broilers only take at the most 8 weeks, depending on what size you want, as early as 6 weeks. So you really have any time from, honestly, I'd say Easter to Thanksgiving, and depending on where you live, maybe even up to Christmas, where you need an 8-week window where you're not super busy. So schedule a time where you don't have, when another enterprise that you're doing isn't really, really needing you, like when you're trying to get your garden together and doing broilers for the first time all at the same time in the spring, you're going to stress yourself out. Do yourself a favor, schedule your broilers to a little bit later, and keep in mind you want not only to receive them when you're not busy, but you also want the end date. So when you're taking them to a processor or you're doing the processing yourself, to also be a time when you have the time to figure out what you're doing, make it as low stress as possible, so you'll enjoy your experience. Anyway, that's what we've got for today. Let me know if you have any questions. We would love to answer them for you, and we'll see you at the next update.